Last night, you probably didn't get enough sleep. Maybe you stayed up too late. Maybe your mind wouldn't stop. Maybe you told yourself one more episode, one more scroll, one more hour, and then morning came anyway. And now you're here, running on coffee and willpower, feeling like you can push through it. But what's actually happening inside your body right now is far more fascinating and far more serious than simply feeling tired. Sleep deprivation is not just fatigue. It is a full biological cascade. It touches your brain, your immune system, your hormones, your heart, and even the expression of your genes. And most of it happens silently, invisibly, while you think you're fine. So, what exactly happens to your body when you skip sleep? It starts the moment you decide to stay awake past the point your body wanted to rest. Your brain contains a small cluster of nerve cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, your internal biological clock. It runs on a 2-4-hour cycle called the circadian rhythm. This clock controls the release of a hormone called melatonin, which is your body's natural signal that darkness has arrived and it is time to begin the transition towards sleep. When you override that signal, when you keep the lights on, keep the screen bright, keep the mind active, you suppress melatonin. You are essentially telling your internal clock that it is still daytime. Your body holds back the sleep machinery. And the longer you do this, the deeper the debt grows. Within just 1 hour of missed sleep, your brain's prefrontal cortex begins to slow down. The prefrontal cortex is the region responsible for rational thinking, judgment, emotional regulation, and decision-making. It is, in a very real sense, the part of you that keeps the rest of you in check. Dr. Matthew Walker, a neuroscientist and sleep researcher at the University of California, Berkeley, describes it this way. In his research, the sleep-deprived brain becomes impulsive, emotionally reactive, and cognitively slower, even when the person believes they are functioning normally. This is the danger. You cannot feel how impaired you are. You lose the ability to accurately assess your own impairment. And while your prefrontal cortex dims, another part of your brain wakes up. The amygdala, your brain's emotional alarm system, becomes 60% more reactive after just one night of poor sleep, according to a landmark study published in Current Biology. Small frustrations feel larger. Mild stress feels unbearable. You snap at people you love. You make choices you wouldn't normally make. Not because something is wrong with you as a person, but because something is wrong with your brain chemistry in that moment. Meanwhile, your body is handling a different kind of crisis. When you are awake past your natural sleep window, your body interprets this as a threat. Stress hormones begin to rise. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, starts climbing. Your heart rate subtly increases. Your blood pressure edges upward. Your body enters a low-grade state of alert because evolutionarily, being awake in the dark was dangerous. It meant something was wrong. Harvard Medical School researchers studying cardiovascular health found that people who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night have a significantly elevated risk of hypertension or high blood pressure. A single night of disrupted sleep raises cortisol levels. Weeks and months of it keeps them chronically elevated. And chronically elevated cortisol inflames blood vessels, stiffens arterial walls, and puts sustained pressure on the heart. Your immune system is next. While you sleep, your immune cells, particularly a class called natural killer cells, become highly active. They patrol your body for abnormal cells, viruses, and early signs of disease. Sleep is when your immune system goes on offense. When you skip sleep, that patrol is called off. A study published in the journal Sleep found that people who slept fewer than 7 hours were nearly 3 times more likely to develop a cold after being exposed to a rhinovirus, the virus that causes the common cold, compared to those who slept 8 or more hours. 3 times more likely. Not a small margin. Your skin also changes. During deep sleep, your body releases human growth hormone, a powerful repair signal that tells your cells to rebuild, regenerate, and recover. Collagen synthesis increases. Cellular damage is repaired. Inflammation is cleared. Without adequate sleep, this repair window closes. Collagen production drops. Skin begins to show the signs of poor recovery, dullness, puffiness, and over time, accelerated aging. There is a reason we call it beauty sleep. Perhaps the biology alarming system affected is one you cannot see at all, your metabolic system. Your body regulates appetite through 2 key hormones, leptin and ghrelin. Leptin tells your brain that you are full and satisfied. Ghrelin tells your brain that you are hungry and need to eat. During proper sleep, leptin rises and ghrelin falls. You wake up with your appetite balanced and your energy stable. After a poor night of sleep, this balance collapses. Leptin drops sharply. Ghrelin spikes. Your brain receives a relentless hunger signal and specifically a craving for high-calorie, high-carbohydrate, high-sugar foods. Not salad, not protein. Your sleep-deprived brain wants dense, fast-burning fuel because it is running low and it knows it. Dr. Eve Van Cotter, a researcher at the University of Chicago who has spent decades studying the relationship between sleep and metabolism, demonstrated in clinical trials that even 2 nights of restricted sleep, just 4 hours per night, caused a 24% increase in hunger and a specific increase in cravings for sweet, salty, and starchy foods. Your willpower cannot override this. Ghrelin is a hormone. It does not respond to motivation. You are not weak for overeating when you are sleep deprived. You are hormonal. And it goes deeper. Sleep deprivation impairs insulin sensitivity, your cell's ability to respond properly to insulin and take in glucose from the bloodstream. When insulin sensitivity drops, blood sugar levels rise. Your pancreas works harder to compensate. Over time, this pattern is one of the primary drivers of type 2 diabetes. The University of Chicago trials showed that after just a few days of sleep restriction, healthy young adults began showing insulin resistance levels comparable to pre-diabetic patients. Healthy, young adults. In days. There is also something happening in your brain that you cannot feel, but science can now measure directly. During sleep, specifically during the deep, slow-wave stages, your brain activates a system called the glymphatic system. This is essentially your brain's waste clearance network, a series of channels that open up around brain cells and allow cerebrospinal fluid to flow through and flush out metabolic waste products. One of the most critical waste products cleared by the glymphatic system is a protein called beta amyloid, the same protein that accumulates into the plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Macon Nedergaard at the University of Rochester, whose research team first described the glymphatic system in 2013, found that this waste clearance is almost entirely a sleep-dependent process. It barely functions while you are awake. Sleep is when your brain literally cleans itself. When you miss sleep, waste accumulates. Not in one night, not permanently after 2, but across years of chronic sleep deprivation, the glymphatic system's inability to clear beta amyloid consistently may be one of the reasons that poor sleep is now recognized as a significant risk factor for cognitive decline. You are not just tired when you skip sleep, you are leaving your brain dirty. Now, here is the counterintuitive part that most people miss. You cannot catch up on sleep the way you think you can. Sleep debt, the accumulated deficit from nights of insufficient sleep, does not simply dissolve after one long weekend of sleeping in. A study from Penn State University found that while some cognitive functions recover with recovery sleep, metabolic disruption, immune suppression, and hormonal imbalance can persist for days after you feel subjectively rested. You feel better before you are actually better? This is the trap. You sleep 10 hours on Saturday, you feel fine on Sunday, and you assume the debt is paid. But your cortisol is still elevated. Your insulin sensitivity is still reduced. Your immune system is still catching up. So, what can you actually do about this today? The most important thing is not a supplement. It is not a sleep tracker. It is a anchors itself primarily to when you wake up, not when you go to sleep. If you wake at the same time every morning, weekdays and weekends, your body learns when to begin producing melatonin the night before, when to deepen sleep stages, and when to initiate the morning hormonal cascade that makes you feel genuinely rested. Consistency at the back end of sleep fixes the front end automatically. Keep your room cool between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, because your core body temperature needs to drop by 1 to 2 degrees to initiate and sustain deep sleep. Avoid bright screens for at least 30 minutes before bed. Not because screens are evil, but because blue light suppresses melatonin and delays the sleep signal your brain needs. And understand this, protecting your sleep is not laziness. It is the single most powerful act of preventive medicine available to you. No pill, no supplement, no diet, no exercise protocol delivers the breadth of biological benefit that 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep provides. You probably didn't get enough sleep last night, but now you know exactly what that cost you and what you can do tonight to start paying it back. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. See you in the next one.